On News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Schrock Innovations presents the Midwest's #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks. It's been a crazy week, hasn't it? Welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, and Papillion. In Lincoln, we are in South Lincoln. We are 2 blocks south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. In Omaha, we're just across the street from the now abandoned Village Point Mall, where the rent is cheaper if you're paying rent right now. It's 168th and Burke. And of course, Midlands Place in Papillion off of 84th and Highway 370. Number to join us on the program this morning, 888-250-2091. 888-250-2091. All right, so starting off here, guys, we are broadcasting live on Facebook, facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, and that's spelled SCHROCK. If you have trouble finding these live broadcasts when we kick them off, if you click follow, not like, but follow on Schrock Innovations page, it'll alert you when we go live. It'll say, Schrock Innovations is live right now. And then you can just go to your notifications and tap on it. You don't have to try to navigate there. It's a lot easier to find. So next time you're on the Schrock Innovations page, just click follow, and then you'll get some increased notifications when we're live on Facebook. You can, of course, ask your questions and say hello on Facebook in the comments there. During commercial breaks, I do try to jump on there and answer questions. And if there's something that's pertinent to the program posted there, I try to pay attention. And, it's hard to read and talk at the same time, but I try to pay attention and bring it into the program. All right, so if you missed last week's show, you can find that show on our Facebook page as well. Also, it's available at SchrockInnovations.com if you click on Radio Show up in the menu up there. But last week, we brought you some breaking news about Best Buy suddenly closing their showrooms. Literally, that news was breaking the hour before we went on the air on a Sunday morning. Russian hackers were taking advantage of all the people working from home, and then we told you how you can protect your computer from said Russian hackers, so it's pretty cool stuff there. Also, how you could get a new PC or upgrade your existing old junky one, because, I do everything from an iPad. That doesn't quite work from home good. So you might want to get a computer rather than just the iPad, because now you're working from home all of a sudden. People are realizing that those $30 a month internet connections aren't real good for productivity. They're fine for grandma checking Facebook, but they're not good for actually working from home. We've had some of our employees figure that out when they go home, like our support staff, and they're like, I don't have the highest package, but I don't have the lowest package. But when you have 3 roommates and they're all working from home, yeah, that makes the internet a little precious, right? Maybe don't stream Netflix while you're working. Just saying. All right. So we've got a good show planned for you coming up on the program today, guys. We have another major closure to tell you about this morning. The largest computer retailer in the nation, located right here in Omaha, is closed its showrooms now. A new bug is blowing up all Microsoft, work from home stuff right when everyone needs to work from home. This has actually been happening to me for like a month, and I've just been working around it because, that's what I do. It's kind of like the mechanic with the busted car. I don't know why my computer blue screens every time I turn my VPN on or off and jump onto a new wireless, but if I restart, it's fine, so I'm just going to restart. And I'll deal with it when I have time, when I'm working from home or something. And so now that Microsoft is actually now acknowledging that that's a real bug going back to February, and they're trying to rush out a patch for it because it's really blowing people up. A new breakthrough in faster-than-light communication. You heard me right. Something that Einstein said was not possible. Faster than light communication. We have a new breakthrough that is advancing this science. It can be done. And it is being done right now. So that's pretty crazy. It was actually done in the late 90s for the first time. But that was a Chinese satellite that they did that with. And we talked to you about that story back in the day as well. But this is a new, more advanced study that makes it happen without, the power of the sun in the middle. So that could change everything. Imagine faster than light communication. It sounds like one of those sci-fi things, but when you think about it, we talk about latency. And a lot of people right now are dealing with latency when you call in somewhere. When everyone is working from home on junky internet connections, there's a delay. So if you've been talking to someone on the phone and you say something and then it takes a second for them to respond, and then they say something back, and then you start talking over each other, and you're not doing it intentionally, and you're just like, why is this guy talking over me? It's because he's hearing you a half second after you talk, and you're hearing him a half second after he talks. That's called latency. Gamers know this as lag. When you're playing an online video game and you shoot at a guy and he doesn't die but you get shot instead, that's because he actually shot you first. You just didn't see him do it yet. Complicated stuff, right? This is like astrophysics stuff, right? Well, now if we had faster than light communication, there would be no latency. It would be instantaneous comms, regardless of distance. Imagine that probe, that Voyager probe that's coasting off the edge of the solar system right now, if it was able to send its data back to Earth in real time with no lag. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? There's a lot of applications. Imagine Elon's satellite network beaming internet down to the globe. Nobody likes satellite internet because latency. It takes time to send things back and forth to space, which adds up to time that you're staring at your browser waiting for a page to load, and you can't game on satellite internet. But if it was instantaneous, you could. So this is a pretty cool story. So we'll tell you about that coming up. Also, what happened on Thursday? Did you may not, it depends if you're using your VPN or not. Most of the East Coast had a complete Google outage. Google Docs, YouTube, everything offline. Did Google buckle under COVID-19? Oh my gosh. So we're going to tell you what happened with Google there as well. All right. So along with those stories, guys, this is the final few days for the preventative maintenance checkup sale. I know right now with everything going on in the world, getting your computer cleaned out is probably not super high on the list, unless, of course, you're looking for a reason to get out of the house. If you are, you're welcome to come to the service center and stand on one of our predefined squares of blue tape and approach the counter at 6-foot intervals and just don't sneeze. You know? So, yeah, we actually had to rope off. Here's the thing. Okay, this whole coronavirus thing, everyone says that the young people are not keeping their distance, but I have to tell you, there are some people, some customers that just do not understand personal space on a normal day. And during coronavirus, you're hyper aware of it. They come around behind the back of the front desk and sit down or stand next to the employee, like over their shoulder, watching what they're typing onto the screen. I mean, and you think that if you were at a bank, would you do that? If you were at a grocery store, would you do that? Why is it okay to? Are we just that close with our customers? Come on around. And then there's those times like, I want to show you what this is doing, and then they come around the back of the desk and set their computer up on the desk and sit down, just like you're sitting there with your grandkid basically and working on this thing. And my people are freaking out because we're hearing in the news how young people aren't taking care of elderly or vulnerable populations, and we want to take care of elderly and vulnerable populations. You're not supposed to be sitting next to me. Now, normally my employees will sit right next to you and do whatever they got to do. I'm sending guys to on-sites in respirator masks now, and they don't want to wear the masks. They think it's overkill, and I'm just like, I'd rather have overkill right now than underkill. It's just how it goes. I have 2 pregnant employees. Both of them are checked out of the service centers now. So I don't have anybody who's tested positive and is not coming to work because they're in self-quarantine. But I do have 2 employees who aren't coming to work because they're afraid what it means for their pregnancies. And so we're seeing increased volume because everybody else is closed, and we're the only place left in Nebraska where you can walk in the door and buy a new computer. That's I shouldn't say only. I'm sure there are other single enterprise mom and pop computer stores. I'm kind of a mom and pop store too, so I don't mean that in a derogatory sense. I don't want to say we're the only ones. Let's say we're the only large one. We're the only multi-location one left, okay? Where you can come in and actually buy a computer. And ironically enough, as many of you know, when you purchase a computer from Schrock Innovations, every computer is custom built for you. Therefore, we don't carry a lot of pre-built systems on hand because you literally just can't walk in the door and buy a system and take it home with you. Because if you do that, do you want endpoint? Do you want secure updater? We got to set up Drive Advisor to alert you to your email address. So we got to take it out of the box. We have to configure all this stuff. It doesn't really lend itself well to hey, let me walk in the door and buy a computer, check out and leave, a la Best Buy or the Mart. It doesn't really work that way. So we haven't really carried them in stock for that reason. The other thing is sometimes people will come in and buy them. I don't have time for that. And they run out the door, not realizing that if we don't fill out the paperwork, you don't have a warranty. If your computer doesn't get tagged and recorded as your computer and the date you picked it up, you do not have a warranty. yeah, that's kind of a problem. So we got to do the paperwork. And so now, though, times have changed, right? So we started off with laptops, and we are doing our best to keep them in stock. And just as soon as we get everybody stocked back up, so each store has a couple of every laptop that we carry, somebody comes along, and we're not complaining, don't get me wrong, but somebody comes along and says, we're sending our employees home, I need 14 laptops. And then we're like, well, okay. And then we say, okay, who's got extras? Let's grab all the extras from the shops, and then let's order some more, and let's get this all going. So it's been pretty crazy. Now we're at the point where we're this week we're receiving extra desktop parts in stock. I was able to buy not one, not two, but 3 webcams. Count them, 3 webcams. Right now, if you try to go online and buy the Logitech webcam that I am live streaming this show with right now, it currently sells for $259. This camera is a $99 camera, and it's not what you need to work from home. This is like a studio grade webcam. Yeah, normally $30 for a webcam, but you can't find them anywhere because everybody who's working from home from a desktop doesn't have a camera. So they went out and bought a camera. So we finally were able to find 3 cameras out there. We've had people coming in asking for cameras. We just haven't been able to get any. And so I have one for each shop we're going to send around when they come in later in the week. So if you're looking for a webcam, we can help you out. If you're looking for a monitor, if you want to add a second monitor to your computer, we can help you out. If you have a laptop, do you know that you can add a second monitor to your laptop? You certainly can, and we can help you with that. So we have all the adapters you need to hook different monitors and things up. We can get it all done for you. It's really amazing the things that we are stepping up and doing over at Schruck. We have in-stock printers now because, people get home and they're like, I usually print this at work and then I work off the paper onto my screen, but I'm at home now. And so I don't have a printer because, I do everything on an iPad. So I don't really need a printer anymore. And then people are just realizing it's hard to work from home. So here's the thing. I don't want to spend a ton of time. The Aftershock will be full of all the coronavirus anecdotal things you want to hear about. That comes after the program on Facebook. So during the show, we're not going to talk about coronavirus a ton. But we've just seen some wackadoo things. Like the other day, my wife and I went to Mulhall's, which if you're not from the Omaha metro area, it's like a plant store. Kind of like an Earl May or something like that. You go in there, you can buy your plants, and it was nice to walk through a greenhouse, honestly, just be out of the house and in some place where you can have your social distancing and have some nature and walk through, and we bought some plants. So anyway, we're in Earl May, or the equivalent of Earl May, Mulhall's, and we're going through, and at the end we're checking out, right? And the people who are checking us out, they're doing a fine job, but there was a gal behind the guy. So there was multiple checkout lanes. We were in the one lane that was working. The other lane was getting disinfected, which is great. Good for Mulhall's. I appreciate that. The problem is, have you noticed how many people don't actually read the can of disinfectant to know how to use it? And you would think, it's Lysol, what you spray it and it's disinfected, right? Actually, no. She was spraying the Lysol on and then just wiping it around and wiping it off. And I'm like, and I literally told her, because like Lysol right now, it's like, you can't buy it right now. So I know as a company, like we have like 4 cans left, and we're like very protective of our Lysol. Use it properly if you're going to use it. And so just habit, I'm like, hey, you have to when you Lysol that surface, it has to sit for 4 minutes before you can wipe it or do anything. It's got to air dry. And she looked at me like, what the heck do you know? She looked at me like, okay, boomer, and I was like, oh, wow. And then she held up the can and she read it. And then she walked away. I was like, okay, well, at least she learned, right? At least she read the can and she knew I was right, so she walks away. But that's the thing, and when you Lysol something, don't have the mistaken impression that it's completely sanitized. It is not. Unless you completely coated the surface with liquid and the surface was perfectly clean before you started. If there's any dirt, grime, smudges, anything like oils, anything like that, that Lysol cannot get to the bacteria and viruses underneath the dirt. Next person that comes along and slides something across the counter releases it all. So you have to have a perfectly clean surface. You have to spray it with disinfectant. You have to let it air dry. You can't wipe it clean, which is why you have to clean it first and then sanitize it. Sanitizing is different than cleaning, which is why you should wash your hands and use sanitizer. Oh, all right. So there's your PSA, your coronavirus PSA. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm so tired of hearing about coronavirus. And how many times did you think this week you had coronavirus? You know, every time you have a little sinus drainage or like a little cough or something, you're like, oh gosh. Or worse yet, when you cough because you have sinus drainage, everyone looks at you like, oh, sinner. You know, like you're infected. You know, like I just I had to cough. That's all. It wasn't a big deal. Or like right now, my right eye is itching. Like I want to rub my right eye, but I not supposed to touch my face, right? So it's crazy all the stuff that's going on, guys. So hang in there. We're gonna get through this together. And I go from being completely like, okay, maybe this is a little overblown, to then I go the other direction and I'm like, oh no, we're all gonna die. You know, it's bad. Maybe we don't need to do so much quarantining and lockdown. Oh no, maybe we should. The thing about New York, you see everything that's coming out of New York, and all the media is based out of New York. And this is the last thing I'm going to say about this. I would encourage you to ask your local people in your local communities what's happening in your local hospitals. I talked to someone in Des Moines the other day. I believe they have 2 people in the hospital well, this was dated a few days. They had 2 people that were in the hospital, nobody on ventilators, but 2 people checked into the hospital with symptoms of COVID. Many areas, they're actually laying off nurses right now. They're actually sending them home because there's no work, because we canceled all elective procedures. And there's no COVID push. There's no curve to flatten yet, or at all. So the nurses just have to go home. I was at Lowe's in Papillion, and I saw outside in the garden center there was a strip of 3 N95 masks with goggles. It was $10 because it came with goggles. But it's like there's your coronavirus protection kit, and there's 3 of them just sitting there. And I thought, everyone can't find these things anywhere right now, and I'm not going to buy them. I'm good. My family's okay. So maybe there's a nurse or something that needs one of these that isn't able to get one. So I literally get on and I start texting every medical person in my phone that I know, asking if they need a mask, and they're all like, "No, we're good." I'm like, okay. And when you hear all the stories in New York about how they're getting destroyed, basically the surge is overwhelming the healthcare system. That is really happening. I'm not saying that is not happening. What I am saying is, because of onerous medical regulations that started on or around 2008, the Arthur C. Logan Memorial Hospital, the Emmanuel Unity Hospital, the James Ewing Hospital, the Misocordoia Hospital, the Northwestern Dispensary, which sounds like a weed dispensary, but it's actually a hospital, the Tonsil Hospital. Okay, there's a tonsil hospital. There was a tonsil hospital. And the Western Dispensary for Women and Children are all hospitals in the New York metropolitan area that have closed since 2008. The New York healthcare system is always at capacity during a flu season, at 100%. So when you throw something like this at them, that's why they're setting up tents and field hospitals, things like that. So, there's a lot going on, and I've told some of my employees, stop watching the national news about this. Read the World Herald, read the Des Moines Register, read the Journal-Star. Read your local papers, follow your local news, follow local developments. Yes, you can watch the national news stuff, but don't take that stress on. You don't live in New York. So you don't have to live under the draconian stuff that's happening in New York right now. Hopefully we don't need that here, right? But in the meantime, just live your life. Do what you can do. And I'm not saying go lick every doorknob you come across. Don't get me wrong. Take precautions. Wash your hands. Keep your social distance. There are places that are closed. There's nothing you can do about that. We're going to talk about Nebraska Furniture Mart here is closed now. They've closed all their showrooms. The same day that they made the argument in Kansas City that they were an essential business that had to stay open, they ended up closing. And some people think it's because of the blowback that they got, that, going and buying a new couch or a new bed is not an essential business right now. Well, working from home kind of sort of is essential right now, and you need a lot of tech to do that, and they sell more computers than any other retailer in the U.S., more than Best Buy. So you could make an argument that they could make a legitimate argument that the Mart was an essential business right now. Maybe not all of their business, but that part of it at least. So 888-250-2091. So coming up on the program, guys, maintenance checkups. The maintenance checkup sale is ending at the end of the month. So this is your last opportunity to jump onto our website at schrockinnovations.com. If you don't plan on bringing your computer in right now, I totally get it, but we have open bench spots right now, guys. We are not at surge capacity anymore. We are caught up. So if you want to bring your computer in, now is an excellent time to do it. We will sanitize it when it comes in. We will sanitize it before it goes out again. But if you want to bring it in for a maintenance check, it's a great turnaround time right now. If you have a certificate, we'd love to see you. If, on the other hand, you're staying home right now or you're in a vulnerable population and you don't want to go out, you can go onto our website at schrockinnovations.com and purchase a maintenance certificate for $50 that will basically get this for you anytime you need it in the next 6 months. 888-250-2091. More of the show coming up next on Compute This.
Today's fragile computers need maintenance more than ever. Your computer needs a maintenance checkup every 6 months to last beyond its 18-month expected lifespan. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the data recovery lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at schrockinnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This pro tip number 753. Have you ever wondered how the bad guys always seem to find a way into your computer? Gone are the good old days of email worms and I love you viruses. Nobody wants to steal your data anymore, or in many cases even your identity. Today's cyber criminals want to sell access to your computer or hold your data for ransom. The bad guys are exploiting zero-day vulnerabilities to break into systems that are supposed to be hack-proof. These vulnerabilities are always newly discovered, and the criminals have a brief time to exploit them before they get patched. Antivirus and firewalls do not prevent these attacks, but you can minimize your computer's exposure by installing all security patches as quickly as possible. The average computer needs 12 patches a week. That's not including the ones that are automatically delivered to your computer. Boost your cybersecurity by staying on top of it manually or use a patch installation program like Secure Updater to get your computer the patches it needs. This pro tip is brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I am the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company, where we're keeping our social distance, trying to have some fun with a very difficult situation, and keeping you guys up to date on the technology that you need, making sure your computers are working for you in this time of need. You better believe that if it comes down to that, we're going to make the call that we're an essential business. Now, as long as I can keep my people in the shop, that's the thing. You know, if it's safe for my people to be there and it's safe for our customers to be there, we do have plans to close the service centers if it comes to that, to the point where we're doing pickup and drop off only, or curbside, if you will, like what everybody else is doing. And I talked to my employees about this, and I was like, listen, if somebody comes up to the front door, because our customers don't call ahead. We offer free pickup and drop off all the time. We have for years. No one does it. Everybody comes in, or they want an on-site. So our customers are just going to show up anyway. And then they're going to be at the door, and they're going to see that we're in there and we're open, and they're going to see the sign about curbside, and they're going to see the doorbell we stuck to the outside of the door, and they're going to ring it. And then you're going to open the door, and you're going to be 2 feet away from a customer. And then you're going to take their computer from them. But you can't bring them into the service center. So now do we have to put a table up outside the service center so you can set your computer down and we can check it in on a tablet? We're not making customers sign things right now, unless you spend a lot of money on a credit card and we have to have you sign the slip, but you're not signing work orders and stuff. We're doing our best to reduce the number of things that you can interact with or that you have to interact with. Or we're still stocked on our hand sanitizers in the service center. So as long as it's safe to keep them open, we're going to keep them open, safe for you and safe for us. If that changes, we have plans that we can continue to help you and continue to service your technology by further isolating and making sure that everybody stays safe. So That's the big thing right now. You got plans to deal with contingencies, whether you need them or not. I hope we don't need them, but we do have a plan going forward if we need to do something like that, because I believe that the work that we are doing is essential to so many people. I cannot begin to tell you how many people have thanked me, because I've been working the phones too right now with 2 people out. We're a little shorthanded. So I've been working the phones. I've been building computers. I've been doing things I haven't done in 14 years. They're like, Thor, please stop building computers. And I'm like, come on, I got this. And they're like, yeah, but you make us look bad. That's really why. That's why they wanted me to stop. All right, number to join us on the program this morning, 888-250-2091, and that's what Kathy has done. Kathy, thanks for giving us a call. How can I help you on Compute This today?
Well, I don't really have a question. I just wanted to let you know that you sent Parker out yesterday, and the reason he had to come wasn't because I'm afraid of the virus, but because my Wi-Fi is hooked up in such a way that without a CPU, it won't work. And I've got a kiddo going to school via Wi-Fi. And
Gotcha.
He came out, he fixed it in record time. He even made friends with the dog. And I just wanted to let you know what a great job Parker did.
Well, thank you very much, Kathy. I appreciate you giving me a call and letting me know about that. It's one of those things right now where you're trying to do what you can do to make sure everybody stays happy. And one of the things that none of the schools thought about was you're sending all these kids home to work from home. Well, what if you have multiple kids in the household? They each need a device. And all of a sudden, you have kids trying to share devices, and the school times are set at you're going to do this, you're going to do that. So you've got basically kids working in shifts, and anybody who has multiple kids at home knows that doesn't work. You need to get them all focused on one thing at once, and then bring them all off of it. It's been a challenge, and a lot of people looking for anything that we can get for a computer so that they can keep their kids going. Thank you very much for the call, Kathy, and I'll pass those words on to Parker as well. I know he loves to hear about that when he has a happy customer. 888-250-2091. Got to take a quick break here, guys. When we come back from the break, what happened to Google that knocked off Google Docs, Gmail, and YouTube for 2 hours on Thursday? Also, Windows 10 version 2004 is coming as soon as April 1st. The things that you need to do right now to make sure your computer is ready for this important update. We have no indication at this point that Microsoft is delaying this big version update, so there are some things you need to do to get your computer ready. We're going to tell you what those are. Also, make sure if you are available to join us on Facebook, you do at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Make sure you click like, and more importantly, if you have trouble finding the broadcast, make sure you click follow. And that way, when you click that follow button, it'll pop up in your notifications whenever we go live, and then you can join us on the program there as well. Also, I'm going to tell you about the time my father video conferenced me for the first time, coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations can't teleport technicians to you, but online help is only a click away with the Schrock Desk. Subscribe today and get unlimited help whenever you need it. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation, the modular computer from Schrock Innovations. Compute This pro tip number 187. Recently, you may have received a phone call from someone claiming to be from Microsoft or had a message pop up on your screen telling you that your computer was infected. Do not respond to these calls or messages. They're always a scam. Microsoft will never call you about your computer. Here's how the scam actually shakes out. You get the phone call that your computer's infected. The scammers hit you with some mumbo jumbo about an infected IP address. They'll ask your permission to connect and help you fix it. Once they're in your computer, they do a bunch of fake scans that detect a lot of problems that really aren't there. You see the scan results and figure, your computer's in trouble. Next, the scammers will demand up to $400 to clean up the computer and set you up with a lifetime protection. Don't fall for the scam. Keep good security software installed, like Endpoint and Secure Updater, so when things like this do happen, you know you are covered. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Karen McHugh. No quarantine, but President Trump has issued a no travel advisory for the New York metro area as coronavirus fears mount.
The CDC later released details of this advisory, saying due to extensive community transmission of COVID-19 in the area, CDC urges residents of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut to refrain from non-essential domestic travel for 14 days, effective immediately.
Fox's Garrett Tenney, a suggestion by the president that the entire area be quarantined was strongly opposed by New York's Governor Cuomo. No reports of deaths, but at least half a dozen injuries after tornadoes tore through Jonesboro, Arkansas, and much of the Midwest Saturday. As for today,
a lot less severe today. We will see a little bit of severe weather right across parts of the Ohio Valley, upstate New York, out across parts of the Mid-Atlantic, but for the most part, this is going to be some pretty strong winds.
Fox meteorologist Rick Reichmuth. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Good morning. Clouds continue to decrease, allowing for more sunshine as we head throughout your Sunday. Comfortable high temperatures in the upper 50s, right around that 60-degree mark. Still a bit breezy at times, especially this morning. Overnight lows tonight will drop down to the mid-30s with highs back in the 60s on Monday. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
All right, folks, welcome back into Compute This. You've made it halfway through the program. You've survived this far. You've only got halfway to go. 888-250-2091 is the number to call us on the program today. Ask a question, make a comment. We put you in the drawing for a Schrock Innovations $25 gift certificate that we're going to give away here at the end of the program. So stay tuned for that, and also make sure you get a call in so we can get you in the drawing. All right, so what happened that knocked Google Docs off the internet the other day? If you were using Google, now this happened primarily to people on the East Coast, and I brought up the VPN thing in the first part of the show. So there's a lot of confusion about what VPNs are right now. Like, what is a VPN? Is a VPN the thing that protects your identity that you run on your computer so that nobody knows where you're coming from? Or is a VPN the thing you log into so you can get into your work remotely? And the answer is it's both. They both can do the same thing. So what a virtual private network does, a VPN, running on your local computer, anonymizes all of your internet traffic. So when you go out and go to a website, for example, now if you log into a website, if you log into Google and you go to Google and type stuff in, Google knows that's you, no matter how anonymized the traffic is. But your internet service provider doesn't know that you went to Google, and the federal government doesn't know that you went to Google, and nobody else knows that you went to Google besides Google. And so it's a way to anonymize your traffic and to protect your identity on the internet. Now, we can get deep into the weeds and talk about how cookies and trackers and pixels and hardware ID profiles, they can all be used to overcome VPNs. So don't think that if you have a VPN on your computer, you are impervious to tracking. It is far from impervious. This is like saying if you lock the doors on your car, somebody can't break into your car. A guy with a brick can break into your car, sir. Just locking the doors doesn't mean that everything in the car is perfectly safe. It just means the guy has to pick up a brick and hurl it through the window. Now, in other words, it keeps the honest people honest, right? So, China does track down people who use VPNs. They figure it out. And then they penalize those people, and I won't get into all that right now. Although, stay tuned for the aftershock. There are riots in Wuhan right now. There are riots. You're not hearing anything about it in the media, but there's some cool what do they call it? Alt news news that doesn't really apply to the radio show, but is just interesting all the same, that I find interesting, and that's kind of what the Aftershock is for. So tune into the Aftershock on Facebook here after the program at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. So what happened was Google has routers, obviously, that route traffic, just like every other internet provider or provider of an online service has a router. The thing that surprised me is that they have one router serving the entire East Coast. That seems like a poor idea. I don't know. But they had a router fail. Google had a router fail in Atlanta, and that router failure caused a 2-hour outage on most of the East Coast that basically prevented people from accessing YouTube, prevented people from accessing their Google Docs. When you're trying to work from home and you're trying to collaborate on spreadsheets and documents basically that you work together on, Google Docs is one of the go-to ways of doing that. So that literally we'll have a list of, for example, right now there are about 600 people that have purchased Safe Upgrade in the past that have not purchased their copy of Safe Upgrade yet, and we are now individually calling those people to let them know, hey, this is happening. I know there's a lot going on in the world, and you may have missed this news going on that this update is coming. It could come as soon as the 1st of April. You really need to buy your copy of Safe Upgrade now. And so, but obviously we have a list of 600 people. We can't physically call 600 people, right? Not one person anyway. So we have a team of people. All my work from home people are got their phones at home and they're calling people on this list. And it allows all 3 people to work together as a team to get everybody on the list called. And then we can mark them off so that we're not calling the same people over and over and over again. That was all down for like 2 hours. And everybody freaked out thinking that coronavirus traffic demand had knocked out Google. And it didn't. It wasn't anything related to coronavirus. It was a bum router. But this highlights, I have a buddy of mine who works in a data center for a certain large blue company here in the metro area. And he is telling me that they are deferring lots of hardware replacement. So in other words, they have expected life cycle plans on hardware. And when those life cycle plans are reached, they replace the hardware, needed or not. They say, well, it's been here 5 years. It's fulfilled its life. We're going to get rid of it now so it doesn't fail on us unexpectedly. The problem is we had a supply chain shock when China got hit, and they stopped making. Servers have gone from hundreds of dollars a piece right now to thousands of dollars a piece to buy, because there just aren't any of them around. It's just supply and demand. You can't get them. So people pay more to get them if they need them. Well, the problem we have now is now that China's getting hit with a demand problem because all of a sudden everyone here is working from home, so that supply shock reduced the number of servers, and the demand shock means all the stuff is getting used more and it's under heavy demand, and there is no more capacity to scale up. So this company is actually deferring the planned replacement of equipment. Now, what happens when you have a piece of equipment that you're expected, that it'll fail in approximately 5 years? It could fail in 4, it could fail in 6, but likely to fail in 5. And you choose not to replace it until year 6, you risk failures like what's happening in Atlanta right now. So this is the kind of the strain that you're going to see on the system, and replacement parts are hard to find right now. So yeah, Google obviously is Google, and they've got probably a whole basement full of parts. So, I mean, I'm sure they got it back up and running in 2 hours. Let's just say, it was up and running in 2 hours. But if you noticed an outage, that's what was going on there. Very similar outage with Microsoft Teams. So Microsoft Teams, as well as, what were some of the other ones? It was Teams. I'll make sure I get this right. I'm going to pull up the article here. I'm kind of coasting from memory here. Alrighty. Bear with me a second. All right. So it hit Office 365, Outlook.com, and Microsoft Teams all at the same time. 3 of the tools that you literally need to work from home. A lot of companies bought their employees Office 365 subscriptions because we're not going to be at home forever, so we're just going to buy you a 1-year subscription to Office 365 because it's a lot cheaper than buying the software for permanent. So there you go. But then it went offline. Why is it offline? Because, as we talked about last week, if you're running a VPN on your computer, the program to anonymize you on the internet, when you try to log into your work computer, that anonymization causes the work computer not to recognize who you are. And for security reasons, it could think you could be from Iran, you could be a Chinese hacker. We're not going to let you in. So it doesn't let you in. So you have to turn off your VPN in order to get in. A great example of this is if you have a VPN running on your computer, turn it on and try to order pizza from Papa John's. For some reason, Papa John's website will not work if you are using a VPN. Don't know why. It loads up some website from like 2008, and it's all broken. It's really stupid. So anyway, when you have the VPN on, stuff doesn't work, and you realize, oh shoot, that VPN turns on when I turn the computer on. I forgot it was on. I'm going to turn off my VPN, so you turn it off, and then your computer won't reconnect to the internet. My computer, when I do this, will blue screen occasionally, especially if I'm hopping between. So if I'm at home with my VPN on my Wi-Fi network, and I shut the lid of my laptop and I go to a restaurant or someplace else, like First Watch, for example. Not that I can go there right now, but back, this has been going on since February. And I just thought it was a glitch, and I thought it was just, I'll figure it out later. It's not really impacting me right now, so I'll just figure it out when I get around to it, like a lot of people were doing. So you go to First Watch, and I open the lid of my laptop, and I join the First Watch network. It wouldn't allow me to join the network because my VPN was confused about what was going on. If I turn off the VPN, I can join the network just fine after I restart the computer. So it's one of those things. So it's your VPN that's blowing up Microsoft Teams, Office 365, and Outlook. So before you work from home in the morning, turn off your VPN. Your VPN on your computer, yes, it anonymizes your traffic and helps protect your identity. It also slows down your internet connection badly, like up to 50% slower. So if you're having issues with voice calls being delayed, things like that, it's your VPN. Turn it off. Don't turn off your antivirus. Turn off your VPN. The other thing is, if you're having trouble with Microsoft, they are working on trying to get a patch out for this by April. Right now, though, you can mitigate it by turning off your VPN and restarting your computer. And that seems to solve the problem, at least temporarily, but they're hoping to have an out-of-band update. Microsoft's going to push this out in April before the normal Patch Tuesday, so look for a weird update coming down for your Microsoft computer next month. 888-250-2091. Thanks for holding on, Dwayne. How can I help you today on Compute This?
Hello. Speaking of using old equipment, I have a question about my old laptop.
Yes, sir.
I bought a laptop about 12 years ago.
Okay.
And it still worked well. The only problem I have is the case is broken, like the screen, because I had it in a bag and it got cracked and it broke. So I use it like a desktop now.
Right.
The thing is, I bought it from a fellow that has passed away, is no longer in business, and it was he bought it through like a wholesaler type place that does business machines.
Yeah.
And I did a brief search, and I'm not finding parts for it anymore. I think I probably should just put a new screen on the back.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, screen. If you said it's a laptop, so screens on laptops, we can replace them. The thing you don't want to do is you don't want to search for a replacement part based on the model number of your computer, because there are two different prices in the world. If you search for Dell Optiplex, blah 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 blah, 4567 screen, you get the "Hey, I'm a dumb consumer" price, where they charge you 3 times more for the part than they would charge us. Then if you do a search instead, if you take the laptop apart and take the screen out and actually search for the model number of the physical part that the screen is, and it'll be like an N156 whatever else, search for that part number, then you get a much lower price because they know that you're a tech and you know what you're looking at. So that's why I tell my guys, customers will call us and say, well, I have this computer and it's this model and the screen is cracked. How much will it be to replace the screen? Well, first of all, the screens, when they sell a laptop, they don't change the model number when they change the screen. So the same model number computer could have a matte screen. It could have a glossy screen. It could have a full HD screen. It could have a 4K screen, or it could have a low resolution screen. And the last thing we want to do is order a low resolution screen to replace a 4K screen. You're going to notice that. And so then they say on the phone, well, I just want an approximate price. And you're like, well, the price could be 400% higher that I'm quoting you because I'm not searching with the right criteria, but it won't be any higher than this ridiculous number. So basically what I would suggest you do is, if you can get that into the service center, we can take it apart and we can get you a quote on the screen, actually get the screen number and then get you a quote for what it's going to be to replace either it's the screen or the back panel plate. We would search by the Dell part number, not by the model number of the laptop, to find like the lid plate or the front face plate or the palm rest or whatever piece is broken and replace that broken piece for you. And a lot of times, was it Darby you got it from?
Well, this is I'm actually in Northeast Iowa.
Oh, gotcha.
And
there was a pretty popular computer store here, and a gentleman passed away a few years back. He was a good guy, and so I just wondered if that was him. But anyway, Dwayne, we can get that. We can definitely do that for you. But unfortunately, we're not going to be open in Iowa. We signed the lease this week, But we had to have end of the world language added to the lease, just in case. Literally, like that's what we called it, the apocalypse provision, where if the whole world is still sick come August, we don't have to take possession of the bay, which is a stupid thing to have to think about, but you got to be responsible.
Right.
But we're gunning on being open there in August, provided that the whole COVID thing blows over in the next month and it doesn't really derail us too much. But if it goes on much longer than that, it's going to keep pushing us back 30-day periods after that, because we got to get people in to train them to run that service center, and we can't exactly bring people in and train them and put them up in a hotel here in Omaha when there are no hotels.
Sure, right.
Fun times.
Is there a phone number for your service center that I can just call and kind of ask them about what to do?
Yeah, absolutely. The number for the closest one to you is probably going to be the Papillion Service Center, and the number there is 402-884-0880.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for the call, Dwayne. I appreciate it. All right, 888-250-2091. We touched on the fact that the big Microsoft update, version 2004. Where do these numbers come from, right? So update number 2004 is going to replace update version 1909. So the first two digits of the number are the year of release. So 1909 was released in 2019, and the second two numbers are the month. So it was the update you're running on your computer right now is 1909. It was released in 2019 September. Okay, 1909. The one that's coming now is update 2004, to be released year 2000, month 4. That's a few days from now. We don't know exactly when during the month Microsoft is going to release the update. We know it's either going to be at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month, because there's a patch Tuesday in the middle, on the second Tuesday of the month. So they're going to be either at the beginning or the end of the month. If you have ever had, well, you all have, if you have Windows 10, you've had these updates before. They come out every 6 months. These are the updates that blow up 20% of the computers that they touch, especially older computers. So if you have a computer that you're working from home with that's a little bit older, 2, 3, 4 years, yes, 2 years old is old now. So the laptop I'm streaming this from is actually 3 years old almost now. And it was top of the line, so when I bought it, but it still does what it needed to do, so I'm not even thinking about replacing it. But now I'm in that category with my own laptop, that Microsoft pushing these updates down is getting a little iffy, because they don't necessarily test them against my hardware. So we have a product called Safe Upgrade that you can purchase from our website. It is a do-it-yourself at-home product. It was literally made for the apocalypse. We didn't know it at the time, but we were designing the how to install the update in the middle of a COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, Safe Upgrade. And so Safe Upgrade is $50 for each computer you want to safely upgrade to this new version. The reason you want to use Safe Upgrade, there's a whole bunch of stuff that we do on the bench to your computer if you have us install this update in our service centers. Obviously, right now, a lot of the people listening to the program are in a vulnerable demographic. They don't want to come and go out if they don't have to. People are trying to flatten the curve right now. You don't want to bring your computers out if you don't have to. This product is designed to get your computer upgraded safely, to do all the things that we would do on the bench for you, but do them in your home. And we provide support for Safe Upgrade over the Schrock Desk, our remote online support feature. So if something goes wrong, if you can't get it to work, if it's not doing what you need it to do, we can Schrock Desk connect with you and get everything going that way and make sure you're getting what you need to have done. Because the problem is 20% of the time, these updates will blow up your computer. And it happens to the same people every time. So if you've had a problem in the past, it's very likely you will have a problem again in the future. And blowing up your computer could mean loss of data, complete loss of all of your files and pictures and everything. So make sure you have a backup. The second thing it could do is the update may not install, and it may just keep trying over and over and over every day, taking 30 minutes to an hour each time it tries. That's not fun either. The third thing it could do is it'll try to install the update, and your computer may just never reboot. It'll just get it stuck in a loop where it reboots. It says repairing, can't repair, reboots, repairing, can't repair. We see that on the bench all the time. These problems cost a couple $100s to fix, guys. In the case of lost data, it can cost over $1,000 to get your data back from the data recovery lab. So please purchase Safe Upgrade. It's $50 for each computer that you want to safely upgrade. We warranty it so that if there's a problem with the upgrade, we will take care of it for you with the Safe Upgrade software. If for some reason Safe Upgrade can't update your computer because it detects there is a problem and it's going to cause an issue, so it stops the upgrade, we can do the upgrade for you in the service center. There is a $30 upcharge for us to do it with a technician, but it's way better than having Microsoft shove it down your throat anyway, because they don't stop if they don't try to detect a problem like we do. We try to figure out if it's going to break something before we do it. And if we detect that you're going to have a problem, we're not going to do it. You have to come in for that then. But the vast majority of people are able to do this at home themselves, especially with a little bit of guidance. So you can check that out on our website right now. It's schrockinnovations.com. If you click on Shop and Specials, not only can you pick up your copy of Safe Upgrade for each computer that you want to safely upgrade, but you can also pick up those maintenance checkup certificates while you're there. So if you're going to go over there and pop in to get a maintenance certificate, please do also grab a copy of Safe Upgrade. Not to mention the fact, guys, this basically is a virtual service that we can provide, and the money coming in from this is going directly to keeping my people on the payroll. We have not had to lay off any employees at this point. Everybody is at full pay. Everybody is at full benefits. We still have health insurance for everybody, and it's your patronage that allows us to do that. Obviously, right now, our foot traffic in the service centers is lower. The tickets are higher because people are buying computers, but so the cash flow is good, but we don't make any money on computers really, so the profitability is a lot lower. So these certificates, guys, really help us out as a company too. So if it's something that you're planning on buying, if you can make that purchase today, it would mean the world to us. 888-250-2091. When we come back from the break, we got a bunch of calls and a bunch of stuff to do. It's going to be a fast 5 minutes coming up next on Compute This.
If you can dream it, Schrock Interactive's website developers can make it happen. Refresh your website, automate sales and marketing, and grow your business today with Schrock Interactive. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. And now, Compute This Pro tip number 373. Everyone knows we're supposed to back up our computers and then check those backups periodically to make sure they're working. So why don't most people do it? Lots of people have different ideas about what backing up means. Is it copying files to a flash drive? Is it using a fancy backup program? And how do you know it's working anyway? Windows makes backups easy through free software that's already on your computer. Open your control panels and click Update and Security. Select Backup and choose from all of the available options to get a regular, reliable checkup. You'll need something to back up to, like a Schrock modular storage device or some other backup hard drive. Backups usually run once a week, but you can always change the frequency. The best part is that if your backup ever fails, you'll see a notification in the lower right corner by your clock telling you something's up. Backing up your important data has never been easier. So take a moment to back up your computer today. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
All right, guys, final segment of Compute This. We got a lot to get done and not a lot of time to do it. Let's jump into those phones. George, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today?
I bought a new computer, and I wanted it to be compatible with my wireless printer. Well, they installed a HP 4500 series driver, and my printer is a 4580. Mm-hmm. Will that work?
Yep, it'll work just fine. The 4500 series driver covers all printers that start with 45, XX, any number in that series. The drivers are the same for the entire series. All the different model numbers after the 45 differentiate the different types of printers. Some of them have network connectivity, some are wireless, some are wired, some have scanning feeder trays, some don't. So basically, there's all the submodels in there, but that driver will work for all the printers. Thank you very much for the call, George, and we have you in the drawing as well for the $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Next up is Richard. Welcome to the program, Richard. How can I help you on Compute This?
Hello. I have a laptop, and when I log on to Facebook, and on the left-hand side it says Watch for videos.
Yes.
It brings up, I click on it, and all it brings up is a white screen. Nothing else shows on it.
Gotcha. So it's not playing the actual videos. What web browser are you using on the computer? Like what program do you
Firefox.
open? It is Firefox?
Yes.
Okay. So I guess the first thing we want to do is we want to troubleshoot. So I was going to say, please don't say Internet Explorer, because then that would be the problem, because Internet Explorer can't do that. But the next thing is try to open it up with the new Edge. The logo changed. You might have to look for it a little bit. It's like a rainbow globe-y stylized looking thing now. But try Edge or try Chrome and see if it does the same thing. If one of the other browsers works fine and Firefox doesn't, then we might want to uninstall and reinstall Firefox just to make sure that all of its libraries and files are current and installed properly. If both of them won't play video, then we know the problem is not with the browsers themselves, but it's something else in the computer that's going to require some further investigation. Usually things like, HTML5 have to be enabled and things like that, but those should be enabled by default. So go ahead first, Richard, and try it with a different browser. And if that doesn't work, then let us know, and then we can do a Schrock desk for you and take a look at it over the internet. Or, of course, if you want to bring it into the service center, all 3 service centers are currently still open and able to receive your computers and work on them in the service center. And we turn them back to you. Not that I'm saying you're a filthy guy or anything, but they're going to be super sanitary when you get them back. All right, next up is Thor. Thor, welcome to the program. This is weird. I'm talking to myself. Anthony. What's that? It's Anthony. Oh, it's Anthony. It says Thor. It says Thor on my call screen. Anthony, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This?
Okay, I just had some laptops in, and you put the hard drives in them.
Yes, sir.
One of mine ran Windows 7, and you upgraded it to a 10.
Right.
For some reason, once I get to the house, I cannot connect to the internet or to the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
What would I need to do?
Okay, so basically when you go to connect to the internet, in the lower right-hand corner there's a globe down there, and you click on that, and it will it'll show you a list of the available wireless networks. Are you seeing that list when you click on that globe down there?
Correct. I go to mine, but for some reason it will not connect.
Okay, so does it have a disconnect option? Like, is the button...
Yes, I think I did do a disconnect, and I tried to reconnect, but it still won't connect.
Okay, gotcha. So if it's not connecting, the most likely situation is that your password is incorrect. Obviously, you're going to say I've connected on all the others, and that one, those work fine. This one's not working for some reason. The other thing is, if you have an Ethernet port on the side, you can plug that sucker into your wireless router, and then we can Schrock desk in and take a look at the Wi-Fi for you there. Sorry, I've got to run, Anthony. Thanks for the call. George, congratulations. You've got yourself a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Addie will get that out to you on Monday. Stay tuned for the Aftershock coming up next on Facebook, and we'll see you all again next Sunday for another edition of Compute This.
Fueled by Hy-Vee, home of hot deals and hundreds of prices. This is News Radio 1110.